Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater. Today, we're checking out a versatile tube preamp from Friedman. Let's get started. Today we're looking at the IR-X. Now this is a tube preamp designed by Dave Friedman. It brings to bear his 20 years of experience modding and creating incredible amplifiers, but it also incorporates modern technology like IRs that allow you to do direct recording as well as direct use on stage. So let's take a tour. This is a dual tube preamp. It actually uses two 12AX7s. I've got one here that doesn't have the back on it. You can see we've got two 12AX7s here as well as all the other components. There's a dual layer circuit board there, controls on the side we'll take a look at in just a second, and the front panel, of course. There's a lot going on inside this little box, and that makes it super versatile. You can use this as a direct pedal board preamplifier to feed straight into the PA for playing live. You can use this, as I'm using it today, as the center for a direct recording solution for in the studio. You can also use this along with your regular amplifier. Just run it into the effects loop and it gives you two more channels that you can access. So it's very versatile, gives you a lot of power. I'm sure there are other ways to use it as well. So what we have here are two completely independent channels, each with their own set of controls. Across the top, we have a more plexi-voiced channel. Across the bottom, we have a more BE-voiced Friedman channel down there. Now, when I spoke to Dave about this preamp, I actually looked at one of the beta units of this a while back and was talking to him about it. And the top channel is basically the exact same preamp circuit as you'd find in a plexi amplifier. The bottom is pretty much the exact same preamp circuit that you'd find in a BE amplifier. So these are very authentic tones. But in addition to just having these two straight channels, we also have an independent boost for each one. And that boost has both a gain control, located here on the side panel, as well as a master volume control. So really what we have here is a 4-channel amplifier. And when we hook this up by USB to a Mac or PC, we can access editor software that gives us a few more parameters as well that really allow us to shape the tone. We'll take a look at that editor software in just a little bit. So each channel has a gain control, it has bass, middle, treble controls, as well as a master volume control. Now, as I mentioned, there's an associated boost with each channel. The gain level for that boost is here on the side panel. And then these two controls on the end become the master volume control when you engage the boost. So we're on the plexi channel right now. When we engage the boost, this becomes our master volume. So you can dial that in to be your solo level or just to bring up the dynamic for a certain section. Same thing when we go to the second channel, which is our BE channel. Now each channel has a sound shaping option as well. On the top are the plexi channel, which is a little bit lower gain, cleaner channel. We have a bright switch, and that's a 3-position bright switch. In the center position, that's off. And then we have bright 1. And bright 2. Now, in addition, each channel has its own set of 3 different selectable IRs. We can select those from the front panel here. You can load your own IRs. The unit comes with 12 free IRs, and those are some of Dave Friedman's favorite cabinets. So we've got 3 different options here. Our first IR. Second IR. A little bit more bottom end in that one. And then our third option. More of a mid-focus to that one. But again, you can swap your own IRs in, you can use other IRs from Dave Friedman. But the cool thing is, so if we like the second IR on that top channel, we can have 3 completely different IRs loaded into the second channel down here. So if we switch down there, so you can set that to a completely different sound. That's very cool, being able to tailor the exact cabinet you want per channel. The other control on the second channel, or the BE channel, is the tight control. Now this affects the bottom end. So with that off, Or we can flip that over to the right. Gives you a bigger sound in that position. Some other features of this preamp. Of course, we have our input in the back panel. We also have an effects loop send and return. In this case, I've got a Wampler delay in the effects loop. Engage that effect. Now this is Dave Friedman's ultra-transparent effects loop. Doesn't color the signal at all. But you can completely bypass that effects loop by holding down the channel 2 switch. And then bring the loop back in with a long press as well. In similar fashion, we can actually bypass the IR section and feed just the direct signal straight out. And this is great if you're running into an amplifier or if you're using this with a power amplifier and a set of speakers. So we can completely bypass that IR. Or bring the IR back. Those IRs really bring the sound to life. But an important aspect of that is that it's not just a speaker IR. There also is power amp simulation on that output as well. It's a balanced output, so you can run that straight into your DAW, into your audio interface, or you could run it straight into a PA system, into an FR speaker, or again, you could set this up to run it into another amplifier. However you want to use it, very versatile. We also have 128 MIDI presets on board. There's a MIDI in jack on the back so you can select those presets remotely. So you can access pretty much everything that you need right here from the front panel of the IR-X. But there are a couple things that we can only access using the software editor. Let's take a quick look at that. So this is our software editor, and you can see that it looks very much like the front panel of the pedal. And if we change channels here, it changes on the pedal or on the preamp. We can change up on top as well. We can engage, disengage the boost in a couple different places. We can bypass the effects loop. We can bypass the IRs. You can also do boost lock. Now this locks the boost on, so if it's engaged, now when we change channels, the boost will stay engaged on each of those 2 channels. If we turn that off, then the boost comes on and off as we change channels. Over here on the left is where we have the 3 IRs for each of the channels. You can see we've got separately assignable IRs there. We can open up a dialog to load in new IRs if you prefer to use those. But these are some of Dave's favorites. The 6402 is one of his favorite cabinets. It's one where the covering has been stripped off, belonged to a 70s guitar icon, we'll say. And Dave uses that for testing most of his amplifiers and for voicing his designs. Then there's a vintage 30 cabinet here. In this case, we have the same set of cabinets loaded into channel 2, but we could have completely different IRs loaded into each of the channels. Now here are 2 of the features that are available inside the preamp, but that aren't accessible from the front panel. We have a 3-position presence switch for each channel, and we also have a 3-position thump or resonance switch. So let's put that over here. We've got our presence off. First position. And second position. Let's put that back in the middle. Similarly with thump. So we have extra sound shaping capability using those 2 controls independently on each of the 2 channels. Now here are our 128 MIDI programs. We can access those from inside the editor or of course via MIDI as well. Set the MIDI channel, but it's pretty straight ahead. To store a preset, we can click the store button here, or we can hold down the boost button on the front panel of the IR-X. So as you can see, with the IR-X, Friedman has created an incredibly versatile preamp for guitar players in the studio, on the stage, when you're practicing, as an all-in-one solution for going direct. It can really serve a lot of different applications for us. And don't forget, you could also run this into the effects loop on an amplifier to get a 3rd channel or 4th channel, actually 4 more channels inside your amplifier. You could also run this into an FR speaker for a stage rig. So a lot of different ways you can use it. With the combination of features, the 2 boost channels that are available, one for each of the regular channels, the switchable effects loop. We've got a lot going on here. And by the way, it also works great with pedals. It's a great pedal platform. Let's go back here to our Plexi. I've got an Origin Effects Halcyon Gold. Bring in our effects. Go to channel 2. Tons of possibilities with the IR-X. If you have questions about the Friedman IR-X or any of Friedman's products, jump over to Sweetwater.com and check out the product page. There's full information there. Or better yet, give your Sweetwater sales engineer a call. They'll know all about it. They'll be happy to fill you in and tell you how this can become the centerpiece for both your recording and your live rigs. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater.